1-2. How you doing, guys? My name is DJ Chepo. My company is DJ Chepo Music. I do beats, I do music productions, I do a lot of little things here in my garage. I'm a retired military, and also I have been in the reggaeton industry. We the best of the artists that you hear now. Back in the day, we wasn't famous, but now, you know, everybody just played a part, and everybody's famous now. Daddy Yankee, Don Chesina, Cavalucci, Don Omar, Tego Calderon. The reggaeton industry is pretty big and small at the same time, you know? So I was one of the pioneers also in the reggaeton industry, but now, you know, after my military career for a couple of years, I retired, so now I'm making music again. So I'm gonna try to make this video real short as possible I can make it. This is my page on YouTube, DJ Chepo the Godfather, okay? And on Facebook, you can find me Eugenio DJ Chepo, Eugenio or Eugenio DJ Chepo. DJ Chepo Music also. That's the page I manage on Facebook, okay? DJ Chepo Music. All right. Now I got that out of the way. The video tutorial today that I tried to do is about how to set up an Allen and Heath QU-24 with Cubase Pro 9.5. Okay, so from start, I had to assume that you update the firmware on your mixer, and also you had download the app or the control driver to control the mixer with your computer and your computer. Okay, so you go to downloads, and downloads, you're gonna, of course I already did that, you're gonna select your product, QU-Series, and then of course for your respective mixer, you're gonna click on the software. I got a 24 channel mixer, and then you click here for the latest software. Okay, once you've done that, of course you're gonna go to the firmware your mixer use. If you got a 16 channel, you're gonna use this one. You got a 24 channel, you're gonna use that. You see, that's for a 16 channel mixer. You have a QU-16 series, or 24 channel, or 32 channel. In my case, I got a 24 channel. Okay, and you're gonna download the latest firmware. You have to put that firmware on the pen drive, but on the pen drive, you have to make sure that that pen drive is formatted here on the right side of your mixer. There, when you connect this, okay, you go to setup, and then setup, you go to utility. In utility, you're gonna go to format your pen drive. It's gonna be in utility QU drive format. You format the pen drive, and then the firmware that you download, you're gonna put in that pen drive. Then that pen drive, you put it back into the mixer, and then you're gonna update your mixer. Okay, if you have questions on that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube also. Okay, once you update the firmware that is you updating the inside of your mixer, then you're gonna go to dot control, and you're gonna download your latest dot control. It's like an app. Okay, well, it is an app. Okay, you got for Windows and you got for Mac. I'm in Mac, so I'm in version 1.30. Okay, it's gonna say A&H. Okay, for Allen and Heath. Okay, so when you double click on your app of dot control, it's gonna be usually here. I got it down here just for the purpose of this video. I'll always put all my software in here. So once you open it, it's gonna show up in here or somewhere here in the corner. I move it here because I like to have it in my dot control. So you're gonna open it, and that's how it's gonna look. After you install, of course, the software, you have to click here twice, installing your computer. Once you install your computer, I prefer restart the computer after I install any software. So I restart my computer, and then once I restart my computer, then I go open the app, and it's gonna show like this. So to see the version, you see Ryan, when you open that A&H, you're gonna see about, and it's gonna be there. 1.30, okay? That's the version I'm using. You have to make sure that the mixer is on QU-Series, okay? You have to make sure it's in channel 2. The protocol is Mackie control, not Huey. MIDI ports, QU-24 MIDI out, QU-24 MIDI in. So I'm gonna assume that you already update the firmware on your mixer, and that you turn once you update the firmware on your mixer, that you finish updating the firmware on your mixer, that you turn off your mixer and you turn it on back again. Okay, so the update of the mixer actually update. So now that I got that out of the way, okay, I'm gonna assume that you update the firmware on your respective mixer, and you install the right dot control for for Mac. If you got a window, this is your window. If you got a Mac, this is for Mac. And you have to put the updated the latest version of your dot control. Okay, once you done that, okay, let me click out of here, and let me click out of here. Well, I'm gonna need this website here real quick. So before I'm gonna assume that you install your software on your computer and you download your Steinberg download assistant. They actually give you updates for your Cubase, your proper Cubase that you bought, right? So you update your computer, you update to the latest version of Cubase, okay? And once you done that, you're gonna open Cubase, okay? And I'm assuming that you already update all your software, because every software you have to go to the latest version. You see, I got a 64-bit computer Mac, so the version I'm using is Cubase 9.5.20. Okay, once you open your Cubase, of course, you're gonna have your news in here on the left side. It's good to read your news, because like you see, update for Cubase, Group Agent, and Retrolog Analog, are released, and this is the later version. When I bought it, I was in version 9.0, but for some reason, when I bought Cubase 9.0, when I bought it, I don't know, for some reason, I got kind of lucky. Let me explain you this. I bought it in Guitar Center, right? But what I bought was the competitive cross-grade version, And when I went to the website of Steinberg, okay, they say, no, that's the full version. Actually, you just getting a discount price. So I guess, I don't know, Guitar Center commit a mistake. And Cubase Pro supposed to be like $545 to $579, but the competitive cross-grade cost me $325. But of course, plus tax like about $350. I say, man, let me contact the company first. Let me ask them. And they say, no, man. I mean, it's not our mistake. It's just the competitive cross-grade is the full version. And I was like, oh wow, so it's the full version for $325. Nice. And I went and grabbed it, because I think Guitar Center committed the mistake to put the competitive cross-grade version as is the full version, but it's because Steinberg just give a little discount through Guitar Center, and that's really nice, because a lot of musicians like me who don't make a lot of money, not that I don't make a lot of money, but I mean, I make money, but I'm just making a comeback in the music, and of course I'm getting all this software, and when you get a discount price, you have to get hands on it, okay? So today is March 27, by the way, of 2019. So when you click, let's go back to this video. So where I open Cubase Pro 9.5, and then I create an empty project. Once I create an empty project, I have to make sure that I go to Studio Setup, and you see these Mackie controls, they're already set, but for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna delete all of them, so like that you understand how to make the video. So when you open this, it's gonna be looking like this, okay? So you have to go to Remote Devices. Again, you go to Studio, you go to Studio Setup, and then you're gonna go to Remote Devices. On Remote Devices, you see this plus and minus icon. You're gonna add an instance of Mackie control, no Mackie Huey, Mackie control. Okay, again, Mackie control. you're gonna open 4 instances of this because you got 8 channels per each bank. So this means that you had to create 32 channels pretty much, okay? So you're gonna create the first one, then you're gonna create the second one, then you're gonna create the third one, and you're gonna create the fourth one. Okay, they're all Mackie control. Okay, so now when you create this, ain't gonna look like my screen. Okay, they're gonna say all not connected. Okay, they're all gonna say not connected. And let me go back to not connected. So like that, it's like we doing it. You know, like we doing it. Let's put it not connected. Okay, once you do this, it's gonna show it's gonna show you did it right, and you will see. So let me put it on not connected real quick. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I create 4 instances of Mackie control, eight per each, 8 channel per each bank control. Okay, so in Logic Pro X, when you do in Logic Pro X, this one is gonna be the control MIDI 1, and this Mackie control 2 is gonna be the control MIDI 2, and so on. And Cubase is backward. Okay, Mackie control 1, they're technically supposed to be a 1 here, but it's not. So Mackie control 1 is gonna be Mackie control 4. Okay, then you click apply. Then Mackie control 2 is gonna be Mackie control 3. Okay, in and out, you click apply. Mackie control 4 is gonna be Mackie control, the control MIDI 2. Okay, you're gonna click apply. Mackie control 4 is gonna be the control MIDI 1. And you're gonna be asking yourself, oh man, why is backward than Logic Pro X? Because that's the way it is in Cubase. Okay, not all the software are the same. And then if you got some doubt what I'm saying, you go to the website of Allen and Heath that I can show you real quick here. Okay, if you go to Allen and Heath and you go to support, okay, and you go to knowledge base and you click here DAW control, okay, on your knowledge base. Let me see, it was DAW control, or let me see to find it more easy. It was I think I put Logic or Cubase control. Yeah, Cubase. I think I put Cubase, or you put Logic or anything, and you're gonna go to QU-Series .MIDI control. Okay, and here on your QU-Series, pretty much if you search on the knowledge base and you search to QU-Series .MIDI control, it's gonna explain you how the DAW control is set up for each software. For Abby Pro Tools, that I don't use because it's super fucking expensive, $500 a year. Man, I prefer pay $500 maybe one time, because the Pro Tools, man, maybe if I had to pay for a day every 5 years or every 10 years, like $99 is better. That's why I like Steinberg, and that's why I like Logic and Ableton, because they're not expensive. And trust me, they do exactly the same work than Pro Tools. Pro Tools is overrated. People just, I want a Pro Tools, man. For me, I say fuck Pro Tools, So anyway, so you go to DAW control MIDI setup notes, and it's gonna tell you, okay, how to set up your your normal MIDI custom layer and all that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming that you already read this. Okay, that's when I'm assuming that you went through the protocol like I told you. Okay, and for each, like for Pro Tools, this is the way you set up. Don't care about Pro Tools. I mean, respect for the people who use Pro Tools. Okay, they got the money. But for a lot of musicians like me, Steinberg Cubase, man, it is way better than Pro Tools. And Logic Pro X is way better than Pro Tools. And not because I haven't, it's because I'm using it. And I see like, wow, but it just do the same thing like Pro Tools, man. It's overrated. Even in Studio One. the 64 bits do better, you know. I'm telling you. So don't always go by just the name, just use and learn how to use it, okay? So I mean, the best DAW MIDI controller that you can use is the one that you can afford. You see what I'm saying? But it's all about ears. So anyway, so you got the different way that you set up. So you remember that I told you, then Logic, you set up the first DAW MIDI control, one with one, two with two, three with three. Well, here for Steinberg, you see how it is. It just tell you there how to add it. It's the way I was telling you. So again, that's where you found in the support and the knowledge base of Allen in here on the knowledge base. This where you found those notes. So how to set up your MIDI control, okay? So now that I got that out of the way, right? So let's go back to here. So Mackie Control 1 is DAW Control MIDI 4, DAW Control MIDI 4 in and out. For the 2 is number 3. For the 3 is number 2, and for the 4 is number 1. You see DAW Control MIDI 1. Okay, and you every time you set it up, you click apply and you go to the next one. That's it. So you need 4 banks. Each bank is 8 channels. Okay. So then you go to BSD audio system. This is where you set up. This is the built-in audio inside your computer. You know, I set it up there when I have the headphone jack. We set a speaker with headphone jacks. You know, small speakers. You know, just because not all the time I want to use the big monitors to make music. You know, I like to be like real nice and stuff inside here. But when I'm doing my whole big speaker with mixing and audio and everything, you have to make sure the BSD audio system is set up here. You want to use the mixer, of course. So that's your ASIO driver. So it had to be there in order to use the mixer. Then you go to your QU-24 audio. And then you're going to see all your channels in here. And you'll be, oh man, but it's inactive. Why is it inactive? I just set up the DAW MIDI control and everything. Well, of course, click OK here, get out of there. Then you go to studio, you go to audio connections. Then in audio connections, I was explained by Steinberg that I contact by email not even a couple of weeks ago because I was having a little issue. Why my sound is not coming out of the mixer, blah, blah, and this and that. Is something wrong with it? So he told me that I need to go to control room. When this was on, okay, I need to turn this off just to make sure that I'm doing it the right way. That's what he was telling me, man. You need to turn this off, okay, because we don't know what is the problem is going on, why you're not getting audio signal, okay. So I had to disable the control room again. Control room, if this is on, that I just click on in there, okay, you have to disable it. The control room, you have to disable it, okay, and you disable that. Okay, I don't know why I did that. You see how it closed in there? Let me open it again. And I'm supposed to do that. That's a glitch. You see me recording right now, I'm doing that. It just make a glitch in there, okay? Oh, look at that. Huh. Well, for the purpose of this video, you see sometimes problems happen. So again, empty project, create. I go to studio setup. I had to make sure that my Mackie control, like I explained you, Mackie control, DAW Control MIDI 4. Mackie control 2 is in DAW Control MIDI 3. Mackie control, DAW Control MIDI 2 is in 2. Mackie control 4 is in MIDI 1. Okay, and then BSD system, QU-24, ASIO driver, it should be there. It's not in there, it's in built-in. You see, I got 2 TVs connected to the computer. You know, so sometimes it's gonna show HDMI, but that's just my TVs that I use to move my screen left and right, right or left. So you're gonna set it up in QU-24. You're gonna click OK, and then this don't worry about right now because they're all gonna show inactive right now. Okay, so then you go to audio work connections. Make sure you control room is off. That is disabled. I got mine disabled. Then you go to inputs and inputs. Okay, if this here say not connected, you need to say it's QU-24. That's the very first thing. Okay, because it happened to me. Because every time that you update the software, for some reason it's gonna show sometime like this is not connected. Okay, so you have to make sure this in QU-24. Then you're gonna right click on it, remove bus stereo in, okay? Because remember, we got 32 channels on the mixer. Well, technically it's 30. 32 is USB streaming, but really it's 24 channels on mono. So you're gonna do 24 channels. You're gonna scroll up and down till it's 24, or you're just gonna put 24 with a keyboard. Then you're gonna change from stereo to mono, okay? And then you're gonna click here, and then you're gonna put A and H QU-24 CH capitals. You know, I use cap letters. Dash 01, right? So you creating 24 channels on mono because that's the XLR mono inputs from the back. Remember that XLR is mono inputs, okay? So this is how you set up. You got 24 channels, and how you see, since I created those 24 channels right now, and channel 2, where I got my microphone connected right now, I got signal coming out. And you be thinking, like, man, but why you got signal coming out of the 17 and 18? You have to remember now that the mixer is set up to use channel 17 and 18 as the outputs, the sound outputs. It just sends sound on the QU drive, okay? You don't mess with that. You leave it like that. Then you're gonna create three channels, but then you're gonna create the channel stereo, okay? And then you be asking, but why you creating 24 mono and 3 stereo? Too simple. I got a 24 channel mix. I'm creating 24 channels on mono XLR, okay? And then the other 3 channels is your stereo in. You got stereo in 1, and stereo in 2, and stereo 3. Okay, the number 3 would be this little knob here on the top of there. And then you got 2 on the back, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, okay? So I pull same thing, A and H QU-24, okay, channel. Then 25 and 26, of course, right? 25, 26, okay? Add bus is gonna create the other 2. You see what I'm saying? So now you see, oh man, 25, 26, 25, 27, 25, 28. No, 25, 26, and then you double click in here. Okay, okay. I click on the triangle by mistake. I want to click on the word or the number. So 26, 27. You see 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay. So I got 24 mono inputs and 3 stereo inputs. Okay. And you be asking, but stereo, why? Stereo, why? Remember, the stereos in the back, they're like 1/4 jack inputs, you see? So that's why it's like stereos. If you put 2 of them, it will convert in stereo. You put 1 is mono, remember that. So anyway, so this is how the way you do it. You put 24 mono inputs and then 3 stereos. Then you go to outputs. Remember, you're in input, then you go to outputs. And output, if you want to, you remove that bus and then create it again in stereo and then put your name into it. But you don't need to do that, okay? So all you can do, like if you want to rename this, stereo out, Allen and Heath. So I put A and H just to make sure I know there is my Allen and Heath, okay? So it's there, okay? And then here you have to make sure this connecting QU-24. Just like in the input, you have to make sure it's connected on QU-24. So output is there. So you're going to be saying like, man, but you got channel 1 and 2, but then why it's coming out 70 and 80? Because the mixer itself, the QU drive, where it comes the sound, is from 17 and 18. That's the way it's routed. You know, I was thinking maybe it was a mistake from each company. It's not. The mixer custom, not the custom layer, but the mixer it's a section where you set up your QU drive. It's already set up for channel 17 and 18. That's mean when here, if I change it right now to another channel like 31 and 32, okay, it's gonna be, it's still gonna be 17 and 18. You see? So it's channel 1 and channel 2. It's no other thing. Channel 1, channel 2, just leave it there. It's working, it's good. So right now, my inputs are good and my output is good. Okay? So now that we got that in there, right? So you be thinking like, well, I move my red faders and they don't move. Because the red fader, it don't supposed to move the mixer. It's supposed to be the blue ones that you're gonna. It's like this blue faders is gonna appear right now when you add in an audio track or whatever, So let's suppose I'm gonna use some loops. The loops that I got here already from the software. I click on loops. Okay, again, you go to media and you go to drum loops. And now, I'm gonna make sure that my volume is not all the way to the top in there. Okay, I'm good. So yeah, because the three layers that you have. Okay, my streaming layer, like I was explaining you press both of them at the same time. That's gonna be the USB streaming layer. Okay, if I press this first one, this is gonna be the inputs. I got my microphone on input 2. Okay, because the first channel I use it for USB streaming. Okay, if you don't know what is USB streaming, you need to go to the manual. Okay, to how to set up your channel, your one channel for USB streaming. Everything you do on your first layer is gonna come out only from one channel. Remember that, because that's your USB streaming. Okay, but to control the software, you click both of them at the same time. That's what I was explaining you early. That the mixer communicate, and the signal come out of there. So if you haven't see the video on other videos or reading the books, you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I want a loop. So I either preview the loop. That's a loop. You see? So this is the preview window where I hear the music coming out. So if I just click, I either click and drag or I double click on it. So if I double click, I don't know if you heard that channel there moving, but it did, but it went all the way to 0 here. No, to 6. That's way too up. You have to bring it down to 0. I don't know what the software is doing that it don't supposed to do that. When I just got out of the phone like about a week ago with them, and we was try to resolve this problem, they would say, "Oh man, that had to be a glitch. I don't supposed to do that." When you double click to load it as an audio track, your loop, or when you drag it, let me drag one and not double click. You see, it did that. It don't supposed to do that. Go all the way to 0 like that. It's supposed to be in here. When you load it, when you double click, it's supposed to be like, like it's supposed to load on 0 decibel. But anyway, so now that I got 2 loops that are just low right now in here, you're gonna notice when I drag a loop, a channel in the mixer is gonna move. If you have pressed both of this button and you are in the USB streaming layer, okay? Remember, this mixer got 3 layers. First layer is all your inputs, and the second layer is when you press both of them at the same time, that's your USB streaming. And then the third layer, that's when your effects and all that. I really don't mess up with the third layer because I really don't use it that much. I love this mixer so much because when I got the USB streaming layers, I already got a lot of effects on the software. So this mixer even is very powerful. You asking me? I wish they would have make it like 96 hertz, but right now it's in 48 hertz. They make them, but I guess the new one, that's when they doing the 96 hertz. On the other series, the QD or the other ones. But anyway, so practically when you press both of them at the same time, everything you doing in here, everything you do on the USB streaming layers is gonna come out of one channel that you set up for USB streaming. Like mine, when I click just this button in here, right, and I go to function, right, you're gonna have channel 1 to 24 in red, and ST1, ST2, ST3 in red. So when you click like I highlight in yellow on the screen, and I'm talking about this screen in here, okay? It's gonna be in yellow. Let me see if I can find that USB streaming here. USB streaming. So like that you understand what I'm talking about. USB streaming. USB streaming. Let me just put USB. USB streaming, USB streaming. Okay, let me make this smaller. Okay, here. Yeah, here we go. So my sound come from channel 1 because I set it up to USB streaming, okay? So for some reason you can set it on channel 1, channel 2, but you can set it up in no other channel. I don't know why. Because that's the global source. Everything that you did in that first layer of USB streaming, everything's gonna come out of channel 1 if the local you change it to USB. Remember that. Okay? Mine I got set up for USB streaming channel 1, and then I got my microphone in channel 2. Okay, but channel 2, everything is local because that's the input signal you put them in. But you have to get a signal out, so everything that you do when on the USB streaming, it had to come out some way. So I got a USB streaming on channel 1. Okay, so now let me go back to the mixer itself. So what I'm saying is that no matter what mixer you are, that first channel you have to set it up for USB streaming. But then when you press both of the buttons at the same time, everything that you do in that custom layer, okay, when you press these two buttons at the same time, is your USB streaming. That's what you're doing here, okay? So it's way different than Logic, and I was finding it kind of a little difficult in the beginning, and now I kind of get the hang of it into Cubase Pro, and now I kind of get it, you know. So now I don't know if you can hear my mixers moving, okay? So that means I'm moving this fader. This one is moving this fader, okay? So this is what I found kind of interesting on Cubase, right? If I'm working on my mix, right, and you know you're in the mixer moving faders, and I want to move fader 1 and fader 2 and fader 3 at the same time, it won't allow you to do that. Not at the same time. It's not like Logic. And Logic, when you are doing your mix, right, you put in volumes up and down, down and up, right? If you do at the same time all the fader that you move in different channels at the same time, and in Logic, it allows you to do that, but in Cubase, it don't. You have to go kind of touch that fader, and then you're gonna feel like, damn, it's kind of hard, but then they allow you to move, you know, and that's what I was like, man, well, I mean, it is what it is, you know, not all the software work the same. So anyway, we really these days don't even touch the faders no more. We just go straight to the software and we move it, you know. So I prefer just come to the computer and just move the fader and do everything here. So now if I mute, you know, if I mute anything here, it's gonna mute on the mixer too. There, I'm muting my mixer right now, and that's really great. Okay, so if I wanna just not to create these two channels, Command Zulu. So let's say I wanna add a track. I'm gonna do 24 audio, and I'm just gonna do 24 channels, non stereo but mono. Okay, I got 24 inputs coming in. I wanna record 24 inputs, right? Mono, and then of course the output routing is already set up there, and then of course, you know, the track name, whatever, If you got a whole orchestra, I don't know. I just leave it in blank and then I rename it. I'm gonna add 24 tracks, and let me see. I don't know if you're gonna hear my mixer, my faders move. They all move in there. All 24 channels went up in there. So pretty much that's it is, guys. Like, I got my 24 channels there in audio. So I don't know, you a guy like me who actually uh record like right now. If I wanna let me command Zulu, that's mean command Zulu. That's mean you're gonna undo what you just do. You heard all the mixer faders there. Like myself, I work with machine a lot. So if I add an instrument channel, yeah, I'm just gonna add one BST machine stereo out one channel for now. It's gonna create that channel. It's gonna take a little bit, and the first channel is gonna move up if I don't mistake. It take a little bit because I got, like you see, I got a lot of softwares in there. I got a lot of softwares in here that I use. So a lot of plugins, guys. Here we go. So my first fader move up all the way to where it's supposed to move. You see? So it create that fader in there, and I can move it from here. You see? So that's my first instant on machine. Machine is this. This is what I use to make beats and whatever, right? So let me open a recent project. Here we go. And then I got on a hungry BPM, so I have to put on hungry BPM because that's how I record on hungry BPMs. And when I change it in here, it's changing in there. So it don't have no play. It's just like Logic, same thing. So I'm gonna press play. So it's there. You might be thinking, but why the sound is not coming loud? I had to come to my first layer and raise the volume on my USB streaming. That first channel that I was telling you on the first layer. You see? So in my first layer, if I turn that channel down, I can't hear anything because it's my first layer. That's where all the sound is coming out. But when I press both of the buttons at the same time, you heard that sound in there? When I move it with my own hand. So that's had to do with something the write and read that I had to set up yet, but for the purpose of these videos, that's how you set up your channels for USB streaming for Cubase Pro and Allen and Heath QU-24. So if you got any questions, just please let me know. Comment in the bottom, like please, share information if you got better information than I. But I mean, everything is in the books, and I just try to help everyone who got problems into this, because sometimes even when we read the books, it's a couple of things that we don't get by books, and we have to see hands on. I am more a visual person than a reading person, but I read a lot. But even sometimes when I read, you be like, oh man, what's going on? So that's my video tutorial for how to connect the Allen and Heath QU-24 with Cubase Pro 9.5.20 at this moment. And again, thank you for watching this video tutorial. But again, that's how you set up your mixer with the Allen and Heath. Remember the step of the studio setup and the audio connection. You should be good to go. Thank you.